All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Bonnie Negron, and today I am so excited to speak with a very dear client who I worked with not too long ago. And he landed an amazing role, and he's going to share that with us today. And I'm so excited to have him here. Erik, thank you so much for being here. Please
Yeah,
introduce yourself.
absolutely. Hey, Bonnie, my name is Erik Montague, and I am now recently employed as the membership marketing coordinator for a Portland, Oregon local for-profit business where I handle the membership and marketing side of things. And yeah, as you said, it's a lot of the success of that was due to the services that you provided me. So I'm really
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I wanna so excited for you how everything went. I mean, you really started interviewing pretty quickly. I mean, I think you came into the program, you did have some things already activated, but there's so much more that kind of happened in just a short period of time. So I can't wait to talk a little bit more about that. But before we do, please, why don't you tell me, like, what was your biggest challenge or struggle in your career at that point before you joined our program? Like, what prompted you to reach out in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, my wife also did your program, and she had a great level of success where she's very happy in her current role that you and your team helped her achieve. And so I was kind of in this place where I was looking for work, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think there might be some secret sauce that I may not be having with my approach here. So I'm going to go to the Bonnie team, as it were, and see if I can't figure that out. And so I was getting a couple of interviews here and there, and it was fine. But ultimately, I felt like I could be doing better, especially when it came to the revamp of my resume, and in particular, really understanding the ATS tracking system and utilizing tools that would really help me make sure that I could land an interview, because I knew that if I got into the interview, I would excel. But getting into the interview is one, it proved to be a very difficult process, more difficult now than it has ever been in the past for me. And basically, I haven't had to, the word I'll use is cold call for jobs, like with resumes, as
Okay.
it were, pretty much throughout like my entire adult professional life. I've always known somebody, and that's helped me get it. So this was one of those moments where I was like, I'm a little bit blue here, or green, or whatever you want to call it. And I eventually got your team on board, and it really helped make sure that I got my foot in the door, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were at your prior job for quite some time too. So you
Five,
also
well,
haven't
yeah,
been in the
5 years.
job search. Yeah, yeah. So much had changed. All right, awesome. Well, tell us how did our program like specifically address your needs and facilitate your job search journey for the most part?
Absolutely. So there was a few things that I really, really valued amidst the whole program. One, first and foremost, just the way that I function, having goals, having accountability with a team is huge. And I can self-motivate enough, but if I know that I am expected to do something, then I will by somebody else, then I will do it. And so that was one thing where your team had a very clear structure, timeline, all that good stuff. And I was able to utilize that and go, okay, I need to get these modules done, need to fill out these things, get all this stuff done. And eventually that was a really strong motivating factor. I wanted the revamp of my resume really badly. I think I have a decent sense of how to sell myself, but there's just some very specific nuances that go into resume building and tracking and all the good stuff nowadays, where I was in the dark, and frankly, like, researching on it seemed overwhelming. And so getting a bit of professional help in that regard was really beneficial for me. And it also just helped me sell myself even better than I was already doing before, especially when it came to those achievable goals after having dealt with problems. It
Right.
was really nice, and the way that your team laid it out was super simple, very easy to, kind of go, what have I done? What problems did I run across? How did I solve that? It was very easy there. It was also nice to kind of, I mean, I'm a fan of like personality tests, so it was really nice to do the disc profile and kind
Yeah.
of get a better sense of self for myself when it came to my professional approach to things, and it made a lot of sense where it was at, and it also just kind of made me take a step out and maybe look in more totality of what I could be doing, as it were. And I would say I was doing program management before, but now I'm in marketing. And while there's a lot of different things about it, there's a lot of tasks that are very adjacent. And I would say this position really falls in line with where I landed in my disc profile. And in general too, if there was ever any days that I was just feeling low, because it can feel like a slog or it can feel disheartening getting those rejections, you always had a good check-in with a team once or twice a week, for me at least, where I could just go, I'm dealing with this right now. Where are y'all at? And there's, not only your team, but the other clientele that was there.
Yeah.
It's really nice to both, get those pick me ups in those down moments, and those, those applauses, those woohoos when you
Yeah.
actually get some
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were celebrating you, and we even celebrated you. You were out of the program by the time when we found out you had the news. But some of the clients that were in the program with you, I was like, "Hey guys, I got some good news," and everybody was super happy because there was some that was still in the program after you left. And we did celebrate you too. And I
Right.
mean, even your vibe that you brought. I mean, you brought such great energy to the program. You asked great questions, which allowed an amazing learning opportunity for everybody. So it was great having you too as a one of the best students to be able to come in and just bring these questions that sometimes people even in the group program, right, they hesitate to ask, or they feel like maybe it's a stupid question, or they'll email me on the side or send me a direct message, and I'm like, no, that's a great question, I'm sure somebody else has that. But you were really great at just diving in and being able to ask questions that all job seekers have, so thank you for that. um,
Absolutely.
can can you share a specific moment or breakthrough that was a turning point for you during your time in the program?
Oh, sure. One major aspect was when I just got to see my resume. When y'all updated my resume and I could just see it, and I'm like, wow, I've done some pretty cool stuff, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm like, and I know all those things are true, but just the way that it was broken down, and obviously, like, you did it in a way where not only a person would appreciate it, but also would go through machines and stuff like that. I just felt like it was this extra layer of like confidence, and I was like, I've done quite a bit, and I absolutely think that it basically helped me reframe even better how I looked at myself professionally, and especially towards the end of my job seeking journey, as it were. I not only received the offer for my current job, but I was also received an offer for another job,
yep,
and I decided to take this one just based around the parameters of it all. And so, yeah, like that. And I definitely attribute, some major success, and the factor of the work that your team did regarding helping me kind of reframe my mindset around what I've done and what I've accomplished, and ultimately who I am in the workplace.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a big thing, right? When you get your documents and you're like, holy cow, like this is me. I can't believe I did this stuff. And you
Right.
feel better prepared going into interviews, right? And even just having conversations with recruiters on LinkedIn. When you've worked at a company so long, you've never had like this career rebrand.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you start talking about things that may not even be relevant to where you want to go, right? And so part of that is seeing that resume for the first time, understanding like your behavior, your communication style, and really taking that and putting it all together to know exactly like what is it that you're capable of, and to feel that confidence. That's what we aim for you to feel confident going into interviews and to be better prepared, because right, part of what I always talked about is the way that you show up strong in an interview is because you feel confident. Why are you confident? Because you're prepared,
And
right?
yeah, and yeah, just I don't know. We live day to day, kind of just doing the things we're doing. And a lot of the times it's hard to take a step back or a step out and can just kind of look at yourself, in its totality. And, it's really nice to just have a team kind of go, no, we see you and you're awesome. And here's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And it just
absolutely.
it helps really just kind of, it's a good way to remind you that you've done a lot, and you deserve to not only be recognized for it, but to have confidence going into any space that you can achieve what you've achieved before, and what you will achieve soon.
Yeah. And I love that you had multiple offers on the table and you actually used them to land this amazing offer. So please share like what type of salary increase did you get and how you were able to leverage multiple offers on the table.
Yeah, it was great. So I came from a job beforehand, a nonprofit, and so I jumped to this job, and with the jump, I not only received a 70% increase in my compensation, but I also got a 401k with 4% contributing, which is something I haven't had for quite some time. So that was great. Obviously, medical, dental, and all that good stuff there too. And then, yeah, there was another job offer that I got where I was basically able to go like to my company that I'm with now. Hey, there's another company that's really interested, and they're offering me this much. I really want to work with you over here, but I'm gonna need the max of what the range that you're offering in order to take this
I
role.
love that.
There's no question, no hesitation, nothing. By the end of the day, they were like, "Okay, here it is," and I got.
Yeah. And like, oh, what was the time frame from when you joined the program, I think a week after your other job ended, correct? It was like maybe a week or two.
It was a couple 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was 2 to 3 weeks. So then from the time you were in the program to you accepted the offer was about how long?
I would say, oof, to they accepted the offer, probably like 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months, right? Which I know when you started too, you were like concerned, like, oh my gosh, how long? You kind of freaking out in the beginning, right? Like,
Oh, of
how long am I
course.
going to be without out a job?
Yeah.
And did you think when you started that you were going to have this amazing role in that 2 month time frame?
Ooh, I just didn't know. I really
Yeah,
didn't know. Just everything seemed so big and there was so much. And yet again, like, felt like I was putting in applications like 10 a day and would maybe hear back from four of them. And usually it was rejections. And so I was just like,
yeah,
how are there so many jobs available and yet nothing is coming through?
yeah.
Uh, you know what I mean? And so I didn't know at the time. And so I'm very much a guy that puts his nose to the grindstone kind of thing.
Yes,
Uh,
you are.
and I was optimistic. I'm usually like well, how do we solve this
Yeah.
kind of thing. And yeah, once I really started cooking once we really like got through the middle of your program, and I was able to kind of take all the stuff and just move forward. And like I said, like I received multiple job offers and what was in the running for even another job or two, like at the final interview process for that too. So like,
Yeah.
I was feeling pretty good by the end of it.
Absolutely. Well, it all paid off. I'm so excited for you as you are actually calling in from your new role. So I really appreciate you. You just started a new role and you still took the time to share your story. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yay for
Um,
time.
yeah, absolutely. What is one piece of advice you would like to give to others who are thinking about investing in themselves with us?
Hmm. Ooh, okay, let's try this. Uh, don't give up. Every day, treat it like a new day and celebrate the little victories that you have along the way. Remind yourself and really, if you can, give a soft focus to those victories, which means to me, celebrate them, but also don't necessarily get too hung up on them because, who knows what else might come through the woodwork? Who knows what will happen with that? And, the more strategic you can be about how you navigate things nowadays, the better. It's
Yeah,
no longer the job market where you can, go in and just put your application in and expect like your interview to be the next day. It's very much you have to be very considerate about your entire approach to the application side of things, and also just be aware that because you can submit so many resumes and applications nowadays, so too are the companies getting that volume of applications, and it's going to feel like a slog, but only one of them has to say yes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And will you say if you were to ever be out of a job again, right? How prepared do you feel going into the job search the next time around?
Very prepared.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lessons learned, in particular, again, like when it came to the framework of how I view myself and how I can, like view my work, as it were. And yeah, I would be able to take the lessons learned, apply that to my resume, make sure that I use the tools that you either gave me or introduced me to, and ultimately help me move forward with that side of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's skill sets that I'm definitely going to be carrying on for quite some time here. Hopefully, I don't have to use them. You know what I mean? Uh,
Absolutely.
but if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do, it's there.
Exactly, exactly. That's the goal. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for sharing your story. You are phenomenal. Congrats in the new role. I can't wait to watch your journey and see where you go from here. All the
Thank
best. Thank you
you.
so much. All right.